Western New York Immediate Care's new locations are now open. Whether you've suffered a minor injury or just aren't feeling well, Western New York Immediate Care provides safe, quick, high-quality care at an affordable cost. Our clinicians are trained to diagnose and treat non-life-threatening injuries and illnesses and are equipped with on-site x-ray and labs to help you feel better, faster. With 4 convenient locations open 7 days a week, Western New York Immediate Care is here to help when and where you need us. Visit us online to learn more.
Welcome to our Section 6 2022 football preview show. I'm Stu Boyer along with Francis Beck, Tim Chifa, and Tom Prince, and we're going to kick it off by talking about Class A. So
Double
A, excuse me. I meant Double A. Thank you. Anybody see a clear-cut favorite?
Honestly, you've got to give the clear-cut favorite to Bennett right now. Bennett has beaten both Orchard Park and Lancaster at this point. I don't care whether records have been pulled away. I don't care if games have been pulled away. Right now, they've got the wins, right? And they know they have the recipe right now for a win. Right now, early, you've got to give Bennett, the nod. But here's the one thing. Bennett's one loss in the last 2 years outside of the state championship was Orchard Park, right? So you got to love this matchup right here. It is 2 great teams that are going to go head-to-head. And, Stu, I say it every single time over and over, right? It doesn't matter. We're going to look to the trenches first is where we're going to go. And right now, that's where you give the nod to Bennett. It's not only Rashad Perry, but Hamilton's another one on that team who is doing it day in, day out, and really making sure that he's been successful on that line.
Okay, Tim, your take.
Yeah, I agree. I think, with Double A only having 5 teams, it's a unique situation where these teams, they know each other fairly well. All these teams are battle-tested. They beat up each other quite a bit throughout the season. I agree with Tom that Bennett I would probably give the edge to as far as the favorite. But they also, they have to see if they can get back to focusing just on football. Last year in their playoff run, they had some issues with the COVID situation with McQuaid, which obviously they overcame great. Were able to do that. This year they had the situation that happened that, they had to forfeit some games. So, Coach McDuffie's got to get those guys, back on track and just focus in for the playoffs. And, an Orchard Park Bennett game, you can't ask for a better opening better game than that.
And, Francis, you want to take somebody else besides Bennett?
No, I'm not that crazy. No, this is Bennett's division to lose. I don't care where that first-round game is, who it's against. They should be able to take care of business, anybody in Western New York. And, this team has said from the very beginning that they're looking for that game at the Carrier Dome, or now the RCA Dome, now that it's called.
JMA Wireless.
JMA Wireless Dome. If that's what you're talking about, that's where you're going. It shouldn't matter who, when, where you face your teams here in Section 6. You should just be able to take care of business and make your way to Syracuse.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Lancaster-Bennett at the stadium last year was a great game, and Bennett won. But, that number 1 seed says Lancaster next to it.
Again, let's go the reason why it says that, right? It said it because of, paperwork. I don't care what the reason is, right? On the field, Bennett won that game. Let's be realistic,
I'm not arguing that.
But I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to bet against Lancaster's that coaching staff, you're crazy. If you don't think it's going to be a game that stadium, you're crazy, because I'll tell you, it absolutely is. This Lancaster team's for real. Micah Harry was in here for a reason. That kid can run the ball, right? And that kid's a leader out on the field right there, and no doubt he can do special things. They've got Carlson on that line. They got a couple guys out there that are absolutely big. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a cakewalk for any team. These are 2 great games that we should be able to see as we see the road onto the stadium.
Tim, Francis, you guys want to chip in on
Lancaster? I completely agree. Lancaster, they played Niagara Falls in the first round, who they beat pretty handily, 45-6, the first game. But Bennett has their hands full with Orchard Park. It's no walk in the park. No pun intended. No pun intended. But like Tom said, that is the last team in Western New York that actually beat them on the field. Orchard Park also. They have a great quarterback, great receiver. So I'd be shocked if Bennett just rolls them. I think Orchard Park's going to stay in the game. And anything can happen. And there's so many good players in this division. There's so many good players, Division I type players. Rashad Perry going to Syracuse, and just it's really special to watch. And we're in for a treat. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I think Tim, you're right. We're in for a treat for those games. And again, I admit I was a little surprised when I saw that watching that Lancaster Bennett game. That was fairly closer than I thought it was going to be. Only 20-7, 2-touchdown win for Lancaster, or for Bennett, I should say. Lancaster kept that close. I hope if you're Bennett, even if you win the second game, which would be if we're looking at the bracket here, this is my predicted bracket for Class AA. If they meet at the stadium, your hope if you're Bennett, you can win by a wider margin. Not only to move on, but to show growth in your team, that you can improve from one part of the year to the other, and you're doing things the right way.
What I would like to see, Stu. I'm sorry, Tom. What I would like to see is I would like to see Bennett be forced to throw at some point. Okay, if they get down at all in these games against Orchard Park or potentially against Lancaster. That is not their game. They have only thrown about 40 passes all season long. Now, granted, when you're up all game, you can do that, right? But if you get down early and you're forced to throw, let's see if that takes Ben out of their comfort zone, and things can happen pretty crazy then.
I got a chance to interview Coach McDuffie before the season. He said flat out, watch us pass. We can do it, and we're going to do it, right? And I'm going to trust me, they've been ready for when that's going to happen, they're going to be able to do it. And remember, the first game of the year down at McDowell, first 2 touchdowns were by the air.
Yeah.
Right? So they can absolutely prove that they can do it by the air and have proven it already on the field. They just haven't had to do it here in Western New York, right? Well, what it is.
Well, I would just say that anytime you get the ball into Jaden Lewis's hands, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So if you have to throw the ball, you got a great wide receiver to throw it to. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Class AA. We'll be back to talk about Class A after this short break.
Logistics Plus is a global transportation provider headquartered in Erie, PA, with locations worldwide, including right here in Western New York. Logistics Plus is consistently recognized as a fast-growing transportation and logistics company, great supply chain partner, top freight broker, leading project cargo manager, and a great place to work. With a strong passion for excellence, our 500-plus employees put the plus in logistics. Call our Buffalo office today for an efficient, personal approach for all of your transportation needs.